and welcome to the SmackDown Preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another one of the Dudley Boys, Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture, to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. To be done about AW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Matching tease, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Both in our 30s.
Fact, both in our 30s. These are fantastic T-shirts, and this is not even coordinated.
No.
But,
whatever. Bingies, twinsies. We're in the same T-shirt if you're just listening.
Did Phil Chambers slide in to your DMs?
He did indeed.
Like he did to mine. Because we can say it now, can't we?
Yeah.
These T-shirts were, of course, from our live show back in November at the Mosaic Tap. And similar T-shirts and tickets will be available to our live show over All In weekend.
Oh my God.
You ever been to London?
Pretend
you haven't.
No.
Take this example.
No, I haven't.
It's got a great underground system. One of the best in the world. But if you're going to see an event at Wembley Stadium, you do not want to be getting there for showtime. No.
No.
You want to be getting around Wembley way, sort of, not first thing in the morning, but absolutely no later than midday. Mm-hmm. No later than midday. Of course, the doors won't be open for AEW. I mean, they should be. It's probably about a 12-hour kickoff. But the doors won't be open for Wembley Stadium. So you need somewhere to go around midday, around Wembley Stadium. And I'm sort of clear on where to go. I'm kind of half clear.
I can't do this from another
all the time. Why do a plug when you can drag it out into 10 minutes of content, Nicholas?
Yeah. Pay attention, please.
I'm crystal clear on where people can go. Because just minutes away from Wembley Stadium is the Crystal Club. Bingo! Where you can join us. WhatCulture.com/tickets.
Money.
Where they will cost you some of that. Where there'll be bundles to get T-shirts, probably. There'll be tickets, definitely. There'll be patter, absolutely.
Oh! Teachable moment! Teachable moment!
It's going to be class, isn't it? I can't keep doing this now. Earnestly, whatculture.com/tickets. We're going to be doing another live show. They're always real good fun. Ask around online for those that have attended before. And despite what this looks like, you get absolute value for money. What button is he going to press?
You don't have to drive there.
It wasn't my car.
Get the tube. I'm running out now.
Yeah, running out of buttons. Bobby Fish.
So do that.
Yep.
Go to All In.
Yep.
But then what?
In case anybody didn't get the message, just see it really clearly.
Okay.
WhatCulture.com/tickets. WhatCulture Live, 12 till about 2-3-ish.
Yeah.
It's a perfect place to go for drinks, for entertainment. There's going to be a meet and greet. There's bundles with the tickets where you can get a T-shirt. Wilbourn's going to be himself. Like, you don't want to miss this. He's not even been to wrestling at Wembley before.
No.
You're going to be full of beans.
No, I've only ever been to Wembley to watch Chesterfield win and lose finals, basically.
Yeah. Whereas it's guaranteed entertainment and sadness.
But then, and then afterwards, you'll be like, oh, I'm such a high. I want to keep this night going, if anything.
Yeah. You want to get yourself back to the same venue.
What do you mean?
Well, you know the Crystal Club where you can go to see WhatCulture Live, WhatCulture.com/tickets.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, because it's so close to Wembley, don't get the tube. Don't get in the queue. Don't try and get out of Wembley.
No.
Stick around and go to Sweet Chin Disco for a wrestling-themed club night with one of the biggest stars in the industry in Prince Nana, who's going to be there to host, along with Max Caster doing wrestling-related raps and all that patter, and our very own Adam Wilbourn.
That's right. They've got me involved for some reason.
This is a shoot.
Simon Miller was busy.
Yeah. Sweet Chin Disco, same venue, the Crystal Club. What, like 11 till late, I would imagine?
Yeah.
You get to see Wilbourn and Miller do their what went down and ups and downs outside Wembley Stadium, getting the crowd for them. Those videos are always amazing. And then get along to Sweet Chin Disco.
Come on over, baby.
We're good at this.
Who's that? That wasn't Samantha.
Christina
Mom.
Aguilera.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking Samantha Mumba for some
Don't
reason.
wanna love you if you don't love.
That was Kylie.
No, it was Samantha Mumba.
How was Kylie?
Oh, how was Kylie? Yeah, one of the best gigs of my life. Best since Girls Aloud, I would say. 40 years of hits.
Jeez.
The pressure that she must be under to condense that into like a 20 to 25 song set and absolutely nail it.
She would have been spinning around trying to get them all together.
You'd have to get out of my way. Speaking of which, though, the person doing the sign language for like the
that's
whole
cool.
gig wore the Kylie gold hot pants.
Fair play.
Which like I was very impressed with, and the sign language obviously. It was just one of the greatest gigs I've ever seen. There is video footage on X, if you follow me, of what I can only describe as a Steve Austin pop when the opening strings of "Confide in Me" dropped, a 1994 indie cult classic that. Commercially, did not do well, shall we say? Well, no, that song did, but the rest of that run for Kylie did not do so well. But I loved it, and it was just like generations of people. Like she was saying, because we were quite far back, because it's one of them golden ticket sort of deals, and she was taking requests from people, like to do like maybe the first verse or a chorus of like songs, and then the band just knew the stuff so could play it and that, and it was great. But she was taking some requests from the people at the front, and she was saying like, "Are you that person's parent?" It's like, yeah, and they were just offering completely different eras of Kylie, offering requests worth every penny. Would go again, quite honestly. Kylie, do a tour, please.
And we've got our next gig lined up. Me, you, and Phil. And Nicholas is more than welcome to join us, but he's probably too cool. Nicholas, Venga Boys? Yeah, I thought not.
Yeah.
But Brian can put us on the Venga bus. So.
Oh, yeah, please, Brian, put us on the Venga bus. If you want to have on the Venga bus with us. Who else is on that lineup? The Out Here Brothers.
Yeah. Alice DJ.
Alice DJ.
You're not better off alone. You're better off coming with us.
Alice DJ's got Nicholas back on board. I want you back in my life. She had a really flat tone to her singing, but I liked it all the same.
E17.
Yep.
They're on the card.
Not sure what the composition of E17 is at this point.
Have you done 2 Unlimited?
I've never seen 2 Unlimited live. 2 Unlimited, right?
My God, I forgot about Ultra Beat.
Ultra Beat, of course.
I've had a fascination with them for many a year.
That's Alpha Beat.
God damn it.
Sorry. I would love to see Alpha Beat live. 2 Unlimited, I thought, were No Limit and then out. And I've watched Top of the Pops, and that was 92 when No Limit came out. And I'm up to 96, and 2 Unlimited persists. They are still at large. They're still having top 10 hits. And I was like, there's probably a full set list there in them if they want it. Like, I don't think I remember any from the time. But, like, you don't have to play No Limit twice. I was assuming it was going to be like top and tail it with No Limit. They've got more in the locker.
Should we talk about SmackDown?
Not really. It's like Friday afternoon. It feels like a weird time to be talking about it. Like, it's been that long. I think the last SmackDown we did was, I want to say it was before Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And we previewed the Money in the Bank pay-per-view before we previewed SmackDown.
Yeah, that was like a wacky Thursday, that wasn't it? We had to do it loads in advance.
It was like doing when you see like a commentary track laid over a match that was recorded after like a title's changed hands or something. It's like, well, I mean, I wonder what's going to happen on SmackDown 40 hours earlier. So I'm feeling a bit out of the loop, truthfully, with SmackDown.
Well, we're on the road to SummerSlam, aren't we? We're only, 2 weeks away?
That's impossible. That's
crazy.
Yeah, so it's first weekend in August?
Yeah.
God, they've got 2 weeks to make people believe that Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa is a main event in 2024.
I think I love this SummerSlam card already. There's 4 matches confirmed. One would assume 5 after Logan's appearance potentially tonight. Bayley versus Queen Nia, of course.
Yeah, good.
Gunther Priest.
Good.
Cody versus Solo Sikoa.
Good. Match could be bad. Good booking.
I disagree.
Right booking. I've got concerns over the quality of that match. It's Cody's biggest test as...
I wonder if there's going to be a ref bump.
I think there might be. It's Cody's biggest test, but I have enjoyed the... I've been enjoying the plotting to get us there. And last week's closing angle with the Bloodline was really, really strong. The Randy Orton
Jacob
stuff.
Fatu's incredible.
The fact that they are hiding... well, they're not hiding it. You can see it's happening. But the fact they are packaging Cody and Randy within Cody versus the Bloodline is sort of inspired, because you would have imagined that Cody feuding with the Bloodline leads to the return of the good line, the Usos and Roman, whatever, and maybe there's like overlaps there, but it doesn't have to be that way, does it?
No.
What you can have is it just Cody beats Solo or whatever happens, like the Roman, the Usos, someone makes a return and says, and does something about this, and then they pivot off with the Bloodline. And then Randy Orton's like, I'm really hurt trying to fight your battles, Cody.
You did say last week, after you've dealt with the Bloodline, there's going to be plenty of people queuing up to fight you for that title, and I'll be right by your side. Of course you will, Randy.
And it's as if he's stabbing him in the front rather than in the back, whereas with this Orton, it's probably both.
Yeah.
So it's really quite nice how they've done that. But I, myself, I've fallen into that trap, which you get sometimes with these Triple H booking patterns, where I am substantially more excited for Cody and Orton than I am for Cody and Solo. I am watching Cody and Solo as a test. I have not been as cruel to Solo Sikoa as some in this role, but this match needs to hugely over-deliver. Otherwise, I think the accusations that he's out of his depth will be made all the more apparent.
I think it's also part of it that he is desperately trying to project this leadership role, when in reality he's just got the most lethal man in wrestling, Jacob Fatu, doing all of his dirty work as his enforcer. And he's like, anyone else want to question how I am? And no one is until the tribal chief returns.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Jacob Fatu is so lethal that at any given moment he could turn inwards on Solo and you'd be like, well, you were the guy that kind of unlocked this guy. This was always going to possibly happen. In Tama Tonga, I like Tama Tonga in this role. I think he's possibly the best case scenario for a right-hand man figure, because you buy him as a very credible threat, as he's got the matches, which has surprised me, truthfully, but I just buy him as somebody that will do the dirty work. Meanwhile, Tonga Loa is so dangerous that even as you're getting hit with a power driver, he'll smack you in your head. So that man's a wild card. Like he'll hit head and balls at the same time, and he doesn't give a damn.
Doesn't care.
So yeah, maybe there is something to this new Bloodline after all.
Didn't love it for DIY, but Jacob Fatu being like, out of the way, it's time for the Bloodline, just kills both of the tag champs.
No, it's WWE. They kind of can't help themselves in that regard, but Jacob Fatu is the one character you can do that with. I think it's Corey Graves continues to be the guy. Oh no, he's back. Like the fear in his voice is so believable. And it just, I don't know, the idea, like chaos we've discussed before, for something like wrestling that should be the haven for madness and insanity and all sorts, it's actually quite hard to make it feel real. Danger is a hard emotion to summon in wrestling, and Jacob Fatu summons danger.
So we're hearing from Cody Rhodes tonight. He's obviously going to respond to the attack and what they did to Orton, etc., etc. Does he propose tribal combat?
Yep. Yes, he does. He says, "Look, I won this title fighting under tribal combat rules. This isn't your match, Solo. It's mine.
Oh,
you want to lay claim to other people's things. I see what you've got with this Bloodline. Well, I'm going to lay claim to that, and I'll beat you under tribal combat rules. I'm not scared of your Bloodline. I'm just aware that you can do damage if there's rules. So why have them? Why have them?" And then it's almost calling Solo's bluff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does Solo Sikoa have the guts to go for tribal combat, knowing that Cody has allies that can help him, and it was the match that Roman Reigns would constantly use and abuse? Has Solo got that in him? It's like almost that test of like, are you Roman? Everyone thinks you're a fake Roman, mate. And that's Cody forcing Solo to level up. It's like, Roman would have took it. Are you going to take it? Like that sort of like...
You can sort of already start doing the maths of like, okay, Orton cancels out Tama Tonga, Kevin Owens, who I believe I saw an image from him. He's obviously off with family issues, saying she kicked out. I think it was regarding his mother.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic news.
Brilliant, yeah. You'd like to think he'll be around maybe for SummerSlam, yeah.
So you say maybe he takes out Tonga Loa. Jacob Fatu, I don't know. The Undertaker.
Pretty Deadly. Right there.
They'll be busy with Pretty Deadly, the musical.
That's true.
One would hope. Or maybe it's just Roman comes back and then that gets rid of Jacob Fatu, leaving just Solo and Cody, a la what happened at WrestleMania of Cody doesn't need their help to finish the match, he just needs it to level the playing field.
They could really cheat the Solo Sikoa match, and they could hide that the match itself might not have the chops by having the start be just all-out war.
Yeah.
Bedlam. Everybody running around doing all sorts of stuff. And Cody, the fight breaks out into physically quite a long way away from the ring, and he does a crossroads on Jacob Fatu, like off the stage to a table or something. And then he still got to have the wrestle, but it's like, I have finally dealt with you. And then when you see Jacob Fatu emerge from the rubble, what, like 10 minutes later or something, what can stop this man? Something like that, you know, like there's a way to get heat on Jacob Fatu for the first time and still keep him as the real danger in all of this. So, yeah.
Call back to the handcuff spot from the Royal Rumble. He just rips the handcuff.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop me. But yeah, really excited to see how they follow this up with Cody and Solo and the Bloodline and potentially Paul Heyman down the road, of course.
Paul Heyman, yeah. It's just nice to think of Heyman coming back alongside Roman Reigns, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's something to the visual, which I never would have imagined, but there's something to the visual of Roman Reigns triumphantly returning with Paul Heyman by his side.
Oh.
And the two of them, I would have never imagined that. I would have never imagined that would have ended up being their dynamic. And I don't know if long term you do what you did with Roman and Brock, where Heyman appears to be with Roman, but the beating he has taken from the new bloodline makes him realise, actually...
He's always looking to jump onto the...
Yeah, actually they are for real. And over a period of time, what you then see is them two sort of, like either the erosion of their relationship or that Heyman has come back with the view of, I'll double check, what's Roman got left? And then he sees him suffer something, he's like, oh, go on with them.
Yeah.
Go on with them now, thanks.
Looking ahead to SummerSlam as well, we are waiting for Logan Paul's response to LA Knight and the challenge for a US title match. Logan Paul, will he accept it tonight?
Yeah, but what's stopping him? Is there any sort of reason why he wouldn't want the match? Does he think he's above LA Knight? Does he, like LA Knight's he made a bit of a gimmick, hasn't he? He just goes to your house, uses your stuff. He got in Logan Paul's pool, just like he got in AJ Styles' garden. He shows this almost like impressively arrogant streak as a babyface. Logan Paul at this point should look at LA Knight as being a guy that is like levels below him. So is there any way that they delay it by saying, I'm not going to give you them, you're not worthy of my time. I'm thinking I might just skip SummerSlam. And LA Knight has to somehow get that back? Or is it just as simple as, no, here's the match?
Or is it, Logan Paul doing his thing of like, I've had my lawyer look over this contract, a bit like what he did with Cody, and I've had just something a little bit different, and it's a stipulation, because they're enjoying this at the moment, regarding LA Knight being able to challenge for the title again.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to challenge for the US title. Not as long as I hold it, just ever again. Or you never can eat a Slim Jim again, or you have to go to Monday Night Raw if you lose.
What about?
Off my show.
Well, what about if it's not just for the US title? It's a US title. That's the stakes that I'm putting up. You've got to put up your Slim Jim contract because I want to make Slim Jim flavoured Prime.
Or like a Slim Jim straw. You know, like if you like bite each end off a Cadbury finger and you can suck your teeth through it.
Yeah. Like Prime through a like factory processed beef stick.
Yeah, meat straw.
I love it. It's a good job we've had dinner, because otherwise right now my tummy would be rumbling. Yeah, or LA Knight has got to do 6 months in the Prime bottle outfit if he loses.
Yes.
And he has to wrestle in it. Doing that like jumping to the top rope as a Prime bottle.
It's quite protective, isn't it? So I show speed.
Actually, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking a bump in that coffee.
Yeah.
Sign the contract. I like the Slim Jim stuff is pretty funny. I like LA Knight speeding around in a Slim Jim car. Like, why would Logan Paul not want that endorsement? That's very him.
What if Logan Paul has made a replica Slim Jim car because it's so unique? You'd think, well, you didn't catch the number plate, but it was the Slim Jim car. It's obviously LA Knight.
Yeah.
And he's done some driving offences to potentially cause LA Knight to miss SummerSlam by being in the clink. But it's revealed, wait a second, that's not the Slim Jim car, that's just a big bottle of Prime.
The reveal.
Like, what's that? There's that worm in there who drives an apple. Who's that? I'm thinking of.
Is that not just every cartoon of a worm and an apple?
Worm drives.
That worm that drives an apple.
There he is. There he is.
What's he called?
The Busy World of Richard Scary? Scary.
Richard Scary.
There he is. Beep, beep. Every day there's something new.
In the Busy World of Richard Scary.
Yeah. That feels like a knockoff one.
He looks a
Lonely
bit like-
Worm's apple car. Oh no, it's the bloke. It's the bloke.
He looks a bit like you.
He does. He's got good vibes.
Yeah. It looks like a nice life. I'd quite like to drive around in a little apple. He looks comfy, doesn't he? You can get Netflix in there.
Sort of a little bit allergic to Apple.
I think you're
Weirdly.
going to say worms. Ugh. A little bit allergic to apple.
Yeah.
Is that a fruit thing, or I need somebody who's allergic to like pineapple and melon and stuff.
You know,
like
I'm
that.
violently allergic to kiwi fruit, of course. I don't know what the apple thing is. I don't know whether it's... I can drink apple juice, no problem. I don't know whether it's to do with the skin of an apple or what. But then again, I suppose I'd be inside the apple, so...
So if anything, you're the most protected from the skin of the apple.
Yeah.
If anything, this apple that's since been hollowed out and an engine's been added to make it a car.
It's like a pretty sick car, doesn't it?
Imagine if that, like, LA Knight gets this multi-million-dollar Slim Jim deal. He's like, great news, sign the contract, looking forward to it. I'm allergic to sausage meat. What?
Yeah.
Neither.
Do you reckon, what would you rather drive, the Apple car or one of them Tesla Cybertrucks?
Oh, the Apple car.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, like the Cybertrucks, it's...
Does the Cybertruck get really hot if you leave it out in the sun?
It doesn't look like it would go well in hot weather. does it?
or bad weather.
I was stopping for Kylie and indeed for Block Party the week before, stopping in a friend's flat, right, that was in a very fancy bit of London. Ooh. Canary Wharf, right?
Very nice.
Lots of it, like, it looks like the sort of credits of The Apprentice.
Yes.
And I was like, Kipping in his living room, and he has like a big window.
You take him up the Shard?
A big window with a balcony, the whole deal, looking down on London. And you could see the Millennium Dome and all these skyscrapers, right? And I honestly felt like, you know, those people
It's
that
called the O2, not the Millennium Dome, Grandad, but yeah.
you know, the people that burn ants with a magnifying glass. I was waking up and the sun was just bouncing off these and Nosferatu getting out of bed, having to get out the line of fire of this massive sunbeam coming in. So that makes me think a Cybertruck would be be a bit unpleasant in the heat. Whereas an Apple, yes, it would go mouldy over time.
But what a day we'd have.
I was going to say, you would drive it for the hour where it would be roadworthy, and then various great and other cars would be like, an Apple, that's not safe.
So you think Logan Paul accepts LA Knight's challenge?
I think you are rotten to the core. Do you know that?
We've also got Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes tonight, both who had...
Off, by the way, I've been to the O2. Like, I know it's called the O2. I just like calling it Millennium Dome, all right? It reminds me of a simpler and massively wasteful time. Money to piss away.
Did you go there when it was?
No, God,
I
no.
did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did what? A school trip or something?
Went to see the big, you know, like...
the big man.
Yeah.
Millennium man.
Even at that age, I was like, this feels like a waste of money.
My parents were complaining a lot about tax, and now I see why.
Yeah. Just have James Bond roll down the outside of it, and it'll probably be... Yeah, it'll be all right.
I've been to the O2 to watch stuff there. It's quite a good... I'm not predisposed to big venues typically, but I quite like the O2 as far as like larger ones go.
So Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I think this has got a real potential, you know. I like Melo, obviously.
Yep.
And I think Andrade had a decent showing in Money in the Bank. And it feels like they want to do something with him. Like they were doing a lot. It's very stop-start, I find, with him.
Well, Melo wins here as well, so I think it's going to be stuck on
You think
stop.
so?
Well, yeah, like... I like this Carmelo Hayes character. I do. And I am surprised with how much I've enjoyed him. I think it's given him the seasoning he needs as a heel talker. How can I be nice about this? No, I can't. I don't think Carmelo Hayes is a particularly good wrestler, right? And I think, and that should be, it's WWE, it's fine. I don't need good wrestlers. I just need stars. And I think Carmelo Hayes is a star. And I've never doubted that. But it was weird how in NXT, especially as a babyface, in NXT, there was this whole idea, because of the him character, and because it was very much total package, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he's got all this charisma, all the star power, but he can queue. I was like, where's this evidence that he can queue? Like, more matches that were pretty bang average. Or
Good, not great.
Yeah. And we talk all the time, ad nauseum, about, like, even great isn't what it used to be, and there's so much out there now. You know, we're recording this just days after the MJF Ospreay match, the debate will rage on this one, and what is a great match, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, I don't think Carmelo Hayes has many of them. But as a result, I think the pivot on SmackDown has been really worthwhile for him. I think he's got loads more charisma than your Austin Theory type heel, where they've just thought, just be a bit of an arsehole. Just get them booing you, call out the sports team, call out the babyface, say they're all like just rubbish compared to me, blah, blah, blah. It's Route 1 stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's handled that material really well. I think he's elevating that material. And then the bell rings, and it's still not great, but star on the rise. Soon enough, the crowds are going to come from. The crowds are going to get hotter. He's had moments. I think like the matches against like Cody Rhodes. I think did he have a match against Randy Orton?
Beat Randy Orton.
Beat Randy Orton, didn't he? Yeah, not half bad. So I just think
triple threat, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the qualifier. Yeah. So I think he wins here, or I think like the project is Carmelo Hayes, which doesn't bode well for Andrade. I just don't see what Andrade gets off the back end. I don't think I'm seeing what you're seeing with this run, personally.
I mean, maybe it's more hope than expectation with Andrade, because I feel like, Triple H wants to kind of prove a point with, I did all this work with him in NXT, and then he went up and he was just there. And it feels like he's just there again right now.
Yeah.
I think he works far better as a heel. So maybe he does lose this, and that's the catalyst for him eventually. Not via Legado or the LWO or anything like that, because it feels like that's such a...
He needs his own world to inhabit rather than other people's as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Melo run has got potential.
Maybe they've written off Zelina Vega with an injury to reunite the pairing of them.
That would be class. Again, like that would require her moving away from that sort of fictional universe as well. She's been very vocal online lately about wanting real opportunities, give me the ball, all that sort of stuff. So whether or not she would see returning to Andrade's side as like a step back, I don't know. But my God, they were over.
Yeah.
People bought them. The chemistry was amazing. Andrade was doing the best. Well, Andrade was doing the best work of his WWE run in that time, but I think she was the one that got him to the position to be able to do it. I think that act never really felt whole in NXT until she became a part of it, and then instantly it clicked.
I remember it because I was not watching NXT at the time, and then like I get into it, I see this Andrade fella, and then I go, oh, what the hell's he wearing a fedora and braces on this bit?
Yeah.
That was like early days, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Zelina Vega sort of...
It was a good catalyst that for her to be like, what are you doing with all
totally.
this?
It was an acknowledgement of a failed push that made sense within the fiction. And then the one for me was they had it was a summer 2016 takeover match. It was the opener against Johnny Gargano, and it was after DIY. Like, it was the first takeover after Gargano and Ciampa had split and Ciampa had turned on him, and she threw the DIY t-shirt at him.
Yeah.
And the match had been incredible, and it was like, it felt like a real coming out party for Andrade, and it helped kind of get the DIY story rolling properly. And I don't know, like, he was NXT champion, I think, within a couple of takeovers of that. I think he beat Drew, didn't he? Because Drew was getting... It's never felt hotter, really, I think, for Andrade since. So them two reuniting, you would probably give it a go. I just don't know if that's the kind of thing she would see as a career forward step at the moment. I don't know. But I don't know what there is for Andrade at the moment. I honestly don't. Maybe something with Charlotte Flair, and that maybe them two want to work together.
Yeah.
And they're waiting on her return.
That's a good point, just sort of keeping him busy in the interim.
Yeah, maybe.
A team who are definitely not closer each day is A10 Dan Anda.
Nice.
They failed in their rematch for the tag titles. Is this the end for them? And considering the people in the group, is it going to be who can turn on who quickest?
That's it, isn't it? Do you want these two to have a singles match at SummerSlam?
I think the fact that pause there tells you all you need to. I like both of them.
Yeah, I think this tag team was the move, but Triple H just bloody loves to split them up, doesn't he? Loves to get them together, loves to tear them apart. And I think I like Grayson Waller a lot more than Austin Theory. I think he has a Jim Rossism, more of an upside, personally, but now didn't feel like the time to break them up. Not at all. They have a ceiling. That sort of thing they do, that cheap heat stuff has a ceiling, but Austin Theory is the baby face coming out of this. Like Grayson Waller's patter, but it works primarily because he's a heel.
Yeah.
The Austin Theory solid 5 out of 10 work rate baby face run. Ugh. Who's going to want to watch that?
Yeah. And they've sort of alluded to their history with the Way, of course. Unless he's just sort of a peripheral figure in this DIY title run that eventually Ciampa's like, why have you got this twat here?
That might work. That I could see that as like
look,
Gargano
Austin, you're at your
welcomes-
lowest point.
Yeah.
Just
hang out with us again.
hang out with us.
Welcome
I was
to-
trying to RKO Randy Orton on social media.
Welcomes him back in from the cold. I don't hate that. I can't see another way. Maybe, because Austin Theory was a passable goofball, wasn't he?
Yeah.
As part of the way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, why not that then? Yeah. And singles match on TV. SummerSlam Go Home or something.
Or do they do the... Because they're in Cleveland, obviously, for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Give us one more shot at those tag titles, and the losing tag team can never, ever tag together again.
Like that. Yeah, losing team must disband. That's... Yes. Filled us
Smart
with
ball,
there.
baby. I'm on a roll.
Scheduling question for WWE instead of us for a change.
That's a good point, because I've got 6 matches on my SummerSlam card already, if you're including Drew and Punk and the US title match.
I like win or disband for that. Is this going to be a double taping ahead of WWE going to Japan? Is that this week or is it next week or soon? Because I read something about that and I know the Japan tour is imminent, isn't it?
Well, I'll look that up whilst you talk about our final point on this, which, unsurprisingly, we even had time to talk about Miss Money in the Bank.
No.
Tiffany Stratton. It's gone exactly as I called it. And unsurprisingly, as a result of that, I've loved every second.
Well, it's pretty great right out of the gate. I do, however, need some help. I know this is like not ideal because you want me to pontificate while you find that. But I was hoping to have a chat with our friend Rafone over there because last week Nia Jax
It is taped.
double taping this week, so you're going to get some promos and matches for the next 2 weeks. So theoretically, you could do Bailey and say Nia Jax tonight having another face to
I'd
face.
hate to have to preview a pre-taped SmackDown next week.
Yeah, I'll not tell Sage and I'll just read all the spoilers.
Yeah.
I think this will probably happen if anything.
Wacky Summer's back, baby.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah,
I'm not sorry. I'm going on a stag do.
well, yeah. I've had 2 good weekends. I've had all my.
Yeah.
I've had my fun. My fun's over with now, except this, which is the most fun I have ever. What does BBL stand for? Because I was trying to understand. I assume one of the B's is Bailey. I thought one of the L's might be Lady. Nia Jax called her that, and I just thought, well, she's the world champion. She's a hugger. She's a role model.
BBL stands for Be Back Later, according to...
Oh,
Good to
right.
Google.
So this is like a rematch from NXT in 2015 and 2016.
It may refer to a barrel of crude oil or a sexualized slang term for curvy women.
So we're going to go with Be Back Later.
Yeah.
She was talking about how this is like 7 or 8 years on from the last program, and then at the back then she was like BBL, and now here we are. Like BRB. Not to be confused with
CUL8R.
yeah, not to be confused with BRMB. Is it?
No.
Your alma mater. You ever worked there?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Before they became free radio and the people in Birmingham tried to burn it down. What are you doing? It's always been BRMB. What does BRMB even stand for? Birmingham Radio. In Midlands, Birmingham.
Be Back Later. That's happened up here, isn't it, with Metro? Metro Radio has become, is it Hits FM or something? Hits Radio? People don't like that. Don't like it up them. You all right, Nicholas?
Yeah.
What's Bailey? What's happening?
Shorty got a BBL. Now that ass fat, pH fat. That's what this is telling me is what people say.
I was assuming you actually know what it is, right?
I do now. I didn't before. I didn't want to Google it. I knew it was rude. I knew it was rude. I just didn't know exactly what.
Rude is just the thing.
Well, yeah. Pornography adjacent. Is it not?
Well, I mean, it can be.
Depends.
One of the interpretations
Yes.
can be. Brazilian butt lift.
Brazilian butt lift.
It's a medical procedure that women get where they have their buttocks injected with
Yeah.
fat to make them bigger.
That is shoot new information.
Really?
Brazilian butt lift.
Yes. It's a form of buttock augmentation.
He would know.
I did not know. Yeah. Buttock augmentation.
Or it could have stood for...
Fat Yes.
No judgment?
Could stand for...
With a PH.
Yeah. Rikishi Fatu. Is that where they got the name from?
That's exactly.
Everything is wrestling.
Yeah, everything's wrestling.
She could have been talking about Bash League. Big fan of the T20 tournament.
Right, yeah.
Birth banding laboratory.
Big Brian lols, because he might do a Photoshop with us with Brazilian butt lifts. I think I want that one, please, Brian. Can I have a BBL?
Anyway.
Please do a real BBL.
Do a real BBL, Brian, yeah.
A British butt lift, it's cheaper.
But I've loved from the moment Chelsea Green took that awful bump.
Oh my God, that match.
Yeah, you haven't even had a chance to mention that, have you?
Oh my God, that match.
Oh my God.
Frightening. Incredible, electrifying, terrifying.
Not even the best thing that weekend.
What was... Oh, of course. Silly me, because I've forgotten the show. I've also forgotten the name of the show.
It's called NXT Whip. I like it warm, don't like it this warm.
It's a good job of that.
It was incredible.
It was a great show, wasn't it? It's so did Meltzer go 5 on the main event? The 4-way?
No, I'll double check.
Don't check now, because when we get back down the office, the MJF Osprey rating might have dropped.
Oh yeah,
so I don't want you to Google Meltzer stuff.
Bank Dave Meltzer rating.
Well, it's Heatwave.
Sorry, yes.
I like it one. I don't
Heatwave.
like it this one.
NXT Whip. Here we go. Star ratings. Oh yeah, I've just remembered what he gave Wesley and Obafemi.
What was that about? What's his problem? I think that was the best thing on the show.
3.25 stars, you son of a bitch. 4.25 stars for Axiom.
When I'm cleaning windows.
Against Chase U.
Oh! Teachable moment! Teachable moment!
And the main event with the brilliant Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Sean Spears, and Ethan Page at 4.5 stars.
4.5. So that's the bar for when we get back downstairs and we find out what the MJF Osprey one is.
What do you reckon?
What did I say yesterday? 5.25.
I said 5.5, I think,
Yeah. Sid said 5.25 over the desks, and he's got a really good ear for Meltzer clues. Yeah, so we'll say 5.25. 6 for the patter and the explosions online.
But
I want to look at that.
But
are we still talking about them?
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton, right decision to give her the briefcase for me.
Yep.
And already I think she's teased cashing in twice. Once at a live show before Bianca Belair stopped her. And once, obviously, on last week's SmackDown, where her and good work Nia put a beating on Bayley, and she was like, "Good work, Nia. Off you go."
Good. Why would they not do that? I know that the story.
Can Tiffany resist the temptation?
That's nicely done. I like that they're playing with that, because obviously, as you mapped out long ago, Nia could really win the title here.
Yeah.
And Bayley's run has not been great, and I actually think we need to talk about Triple H's booking of Bayley and if maybe WWE is even the right place for it at this point. But I think Nia wins at SummerSlam, and I think that Tiffany Stratton having the briefcase exists for that purpose as much as anything else. You've got weeks, potentially months of the tease of the two of them running. Nia Jax is a perfect wrestler to run roughshod over a roster, because like she's just so physically dominant. So she gets to beat people, not with ease necessarily, but she just goes through all the competition. Meanwhile, Tiffany Stratton is seeing like the opportunities to win this title disappear compared to these things she's doing with Bayley, where it's like, oh, I'll just go for this. With Nia, she's seemingly got to just put that to one side and put her ambition and aspirations all to one side. So then you've got either Nia nearly losing and Tiffany going, great, this could be an opportunity for me, or Nia suffering a match and Tiffany going, great, I could just turn on her instead. It's rich with, genuinely, it is rich with narrative opportunity, this. And as much as, like, I love Bayley, but I think this run has been a pretty profound failure of the promotion to understand exactly how to book her. Mm-hmm. It's been a bit of a failure in terms of how to, like, present Bayley as a babyface in terms of her promos and how she talks, because she's just beloved. And I think sometimes they lean too much in on that they will just rely on audiences to elevate the stuff she does. The music is abysmal. We've still not seen. It's the worst. In terms of the product, I have to be clear about this. It is the worst thing about WWE. Bayley's music is the worst thing about WWE's on-screen product, I think, in terms of how damaging it is and in terms of what it could be. It is.
It's right there as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not like, whoa, what else could they do?
Still not seen the Bayley buddies.
No.
Like, it's this run's been a bit of a failure, and in Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, as kind of bad news as it might be if you're a Bayley fan, and I am one, it's the move. It is the move. Put the belt on Queen Nia at SummerSlam, and then you're absolutely off to the races with this Tiffany Stratton thing.
Yeah, and she's got to showcase the fact she's going to outsmart Nia in terms of, I could cash in, but then I'd have to face Nia at SummerSlam, and I know one-on-one, straight up, I probably can't beat her. So, like you say, I'll either wait till she beats Bayley or wait till Bayley just survives and just take my shot then.
I'd like to see them get all the way to the Rumble and have Tiffany Stratton enter the Rumble.
Yeah.
And say, look,
someone could fall out and land on the briefcase.
We could main event WrestleMania together, and I could be like, all right, yeah, fair enough. And then Tiffany falls short. She's like, right, well, I'm going to take my shortcut now, just smash her in the face of the briefcase and take it. Like the idea that Nia Jax is going to be wise enough to know that that's a possibility, I think is something that you're going to get in Triple H's WWE as well. It's not her going to be, everything is fine, and that ginormous briefcase that you carry around every week is no threat to me. She's going to know, and she's going to be anticipating that as well. It's all just part of the tension.
I'm really excited to see how they follow this up.
Met Jedward on Saturday.
You did?
That was weird.
How long for, and what did you talk to them about?
So, I like Jedward enough, but my friend Lindsay I was with is an actual Jedward fan. Right?
Really?
And
have they got like Jed heads or?
That's just their actual heads.
Okay.
She was able to prove that. So we were in like one of the quieter stages, but it was just out. They weren't like in a separate Jedward only section. And they weren't like sort of behind some sort of Jedward fame wall. They were just out and enjoying one of the support acts. And she spotted one of them. And I don't think even she knew which one it was, right? But
I almost said Jed.
Yeah, it was like, I think that's Jed, or is it Wood? But so she says, oh my
I feel
God.
like John's got the rough half of their name. I know he's first.
Yeah.
But it's John and Edward, if you're unaware. And he's got one letter, and Edward's got all the others.
Me and Nicholas were talking about this the other day.
Well, yeah.
And Nicholas was like, well, couldn't it just been John Wood or something? At least make it 50-50.
Yeah.
Right? So she said, she goes to me, oh my God, it's Jedward. So it turned out, I was like, I want to meet Jedward. So straight away, like she just marked out effectively, to use a wrestling term, on allegedly a wrestling podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And, and she was like, I'm just a massive fan. It's really great to meet you. And he couldn't have been nicer. And he was just having the crack with us. And she was like, oh, would you mind if I get a picture? And he said, yeah, no problem. And then she said, look, like, genuinely, I'm a big fan. And she pulled open a folder on her phone of saved Jedward TikTok videos that she, like, will find and then show her husband to pop him, right? I was like, she's got the receipt. She's the real deal. And he saw that, and it turned out to be John. And I know this because he went, Edward, you've got to see this. And Edward was talking to somebody else, and he came over, and it was like, they were just popping all of these various TikToks that she'd saved. And then we got a load of nice pictures with him and had a beer, and they were like, oh, so have you got the gold wristbands? I was like, no, Jedward, I don't have the gold wristbands. He was like, oh, sorry, if there was something we could do, we'd get you in. And I was like, oh, that's lovely. What can you do? And they didn't, but it was very polite of them to even suggest it. So nothing but good things to say about Jedward. They ran, you'll like this. This is where our tastes overlap in this part of the world. They ran a very close race in Eurovision.
They did.
A decade back with Lipstick. Do you remember that?
I do.
A song about dogs. That wasn't. It was good. And I thought I think they placed maybe top 10 for...
Yeah. There was a period where
for Ireland, maybe?
I'm trying to find
Lipstick by Jedward.
Their ranking in...
What year was that?
They've been in 3 Sharknado films, and not the first 3.
What?
There's 5 Sharknado films according to this.
Jedward have been in 3 of them?
Yeah.
Are they the shark? You see, like, the spiky hair?
They were in Shark... Sorry, this
Jedward.
They were in 5 of the... Sharknado. Sorry, they're in 3 of the Sharknado films. 3, 4, and 5. There is, of course, the 6th, the last Sharknado. It's about time.
Is that the whole title?
Spin-off films. Lava Lantua.
Wait a minute. A spider that's on fire?
It's a fire-spitting tarantula. Thank you for asking.
From a volcano?
It features an appearance by Finn Shepherd, which obviously ties into the Sharknado universe.
Good Finn. It's called Finn, and he's from Sharknado. For real. When was Lipstick?
Sorry, I've got distracted.
You're the Eurovision guy. I'm extending a hand
Jedward.
across Europe to you here. I don't normally give a
2011.
Oh, God, I'm old. 2011. Christ. I saw my oldest son finish primary today. He goes into year 7 in September.
Congrats, Charlie.
Thank you very much. CM Trinity for all of your work with Charlie Hamflett, a legend. And he wasn't even born when Lipstick was released. We used to be a society.
They finished 8th in Eurovision.
Very respectable, isn't it?
12 points from the United Kingdom, and Denmark and Sweden.
Who was the UK that year?
You had to ask, didn't you? Eurovision 2011.
Nicholas really struggling, man.
United Kingdom was...
There is a man that values his time.
Oh, we were in for a treat. That was Blues Year. I can.
I can. I will. Yeah, I remember that. No, they didn't do so well, right?
That's so good, Al.
What? Do you know what the judges said when they realised that they were in it?
What?
Why's it blue?
Right, on that note, we'll wrap things up. Let us know your thoughts ahead of SmackDown. That's what we've been talking about. In the comments or on X at WhatCulture WWE. You've missed us, haven't you? You can follow us on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, you can follow me and Hamflett. You can follow Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. You can follow our brilliant producer who's heavily involved in the planning of this show.
Yeah.
At It's Adam Nicholas.
So it's scripted, this.
Yeah.
We make it seem semi-improvisational. It's not. Nicholas puts the script together.
That he does.
Right down to that line.
Subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast on the Collision Preview.
I watched a podcast glitch in real time there.
Yeah.
Wherever you get your podcast on. How'd that happen?
Azerbaijan won the 2011 Eurovision final, in case you wanted to, cover that one off.
There was a song by the Belarusian entry called I Love Belarus, I think. Fair play to them. It's patriotic. I don't know if they made it past the qualifiers. Remember sometimes the BBC Three would put the qualifiers
Yeah.
Yeah.
WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. For Daily Wrestling Podcast, the Collision Preview is available right now. WrestleCulture with the hashtag Bloody Good Quiz coming your way later on today. But for now, this has been the SmackDown Preview. My thanks to Hamflett, to Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.